And within that 3 months, I had gained like 8 pounds. And I'm like, oh no, this is not me. I said, no, you got to do the opposite. If you're sitting, you got to do something to offset that. So that's when I decided to go back to aerobics, and that's what I started doing. And I remember, and I want to say this, because I kept talking about it. I said, oh yeah, I am going to, oh yeah, I get up and go to the gym. I, was going to the gym, after work, and then sometimes, before work. And I just kept talking about it. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs, and I'm glad I'm having this memory, because I pretty much have forgotten about it. And this is so key, y'all, for those of us who are entrepreneurs. And we think that we are just talking to blank screens. We never know who's watching us. We never know who's joining us. And I want you to know, you never know who's actually listening. There may not be, commenting, they may not be liking, but they're there. And when they're ready, they will. But anyway, when I was talking, and I was like, oh yeah, I had gained this amount of weight. Oh no, I got to do something about this. I'm getting up and going to the gym, and I was changing my eating habits. And for the most part, I would say probably other than some sweets, I pretty much have eaten healthy. And I just say several months later, one of my coworkers who was working on the other side of the cubicle, he was like, Sharon, I heard you talk about going to the gym and how beneficial it was. And I just looked at myself and I was like, I got to do something. Y'all, I didn't even know. And at that time, I'm not even like how I am now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I probably talked a little bit about, oh, we all could be a better person. But for the most part, I was really talking about, kind of like with our mind and just being good people. But I wasn't on what I am on now. But when I really think about it, oh, man, oh, y'all think about that. Ooh, I'm glad I'm having this download. Ooh, woo. Putting some fire in me. Again, you never know who is really taking in. And he was saying that it changed his life because he was battling some medical issues, and I can't remember. I want to say like maybe some, high blood pressure or diabetes or something. And he said he started exercising and eating right. And he lost some weight and he thanked me, y'all. So we never know the impact that we have on people. So keep saying, keep doing, keep showing up. And when I'm telling y'all that, I'm telling myself that. Ooh, this hitting my soul, hitting my heart. Because we never know. So keep showing up, and especially for the things in which you are passionate about. Because when I really think about, because this was like well over 10 years ago. Well over 10 years ago. When I think about it, it's probably have been, wow, almost 20 years ago. Really? So I'm going to back up a little bit. It's not even back it up because this is a part of it. But I want to carve this out. Y'all, because when I really think about this, even though it may not be at the extent, like for those of you who are entrepreneurs, those of you who are leaders, those of you who have stepped out in faith, those of you who've experienced something that you're like, I got to share this with the world. When you really think about it, some of this has really been a part of you in some form or fashion. And what has happened, ooh, this is just touching me. Ooh, man, this is making me emotional, y'all. Ooh, This is good emotions, though. This is good emotions. Oh, man. This is good emotion. Pretty much what I'm saying to y'all is that, This is touching me so much, y'all. This is touching me. But this message is not just for me, y'all. This message is for y'all. What I am telling you is that even though there may have been something recent, whether it's a few weeks ago, a few months ago, even could have been a few years ago, that made you say, hey, I want to start this movement, this ministry, this mission, whatever this thing is. But when you really think about it, parts of it has always been a part of you. So this is how we keep stacking up the things that we know. This is how we keep stacking up of who you are. Because again, remember, I'm here telling you, like how it all got started. And when I really think about it, this has been a part of me. Have I always been to the extent that I am now? No. But even back then, like I said, it's been almost 20 years ago. Not at the level that I'm in now, but just by me just sharing, because when you're, in a cubicle and you're kind of just talking, and I was like, oh yeah, you got to do something, to counteract that, because if you're standing, you got to sit. If you're sitting, you got to stand up. You got to move. You got to eat right. And I was just really just talking about my thing. And I don't even, when I think back on it, I don't even think I was really just telling. I probably was generally, because that's pretty much how I am, generally saying, hey, y'all, we got to do something. And granted, even during that time period, at that time, it was more so about the weight to go up and down. But what is your true origin story? And actually, when it comes to that, there really sprinkles along the way. You know what I'm saying? So do not discount the experiences that you all have had, because by me even just doing this live, like I said, I'm just, even though I, like maybe remember it some, but the depth of it, like, wow. So back then it was self-care. Back then someone was listening. You all are the same. This is why you got into this. This is why you were chosen. You were chosen. You are the chosen one. You have a divine assignment. And remember, we're in different seasons. We have different seasons in our lives. One where we need to get the message so we can become competitive, so that we can plant the seed, and where someone else can plant the seed in us. So again, you never know who's listening to you, but